virtually the same thing again.
Yeah, it's so moving and touching, I don't know how to follow it, but I have taken the precaution of the unusual step of writing some notes, so I might actually get off what I want to say. The difficulty is that, as you so kindly said, we are a team, and we've been so close to each other for more than half a century that I found it really quite difficult to decide what to say about Anne, because it is difficult when you're close to somebody.
I could always tell you.
I accept. And I realise that I've loved Anne for so long, and that there are two things. There's something I don't understand about love. I can remember, just like a digital image imprinted on my brain the day I first saw Anne, walking into the AYPA social and seeing this lovely young girl with dark hair, rotary Anglaise brows, and the flared skirt with the blue circles on it. I can just still see it, thinking, who is that girl? And that changed my life for the better. But I thought, yes, but it went beyond that. It grew and it developed. And I tried to think this evening of why. And I think it's because Anne cares so much about everybody. When we had our children, she threw her whole life into trying to bring them up well, trying to make sure they had the best start in life, as some of them have said. Various things she sort of really threw herself into. When, sadly, we discovered that Sue was diabetic, Anne was tireless in reading every book. No, that's the correction. She got me to read it. Explained to her what this worrying condition was about, and she went on and on and on until one day we heard on the radio the magic name of Dr. Kopelman, and she then insisted on making an appointment in London so that Sue would receive, hopefully, the best possible treatment in the United Kingdom. So Anne was completely tireless. Later on, when Carolyn was returning from Sri Lanka and needed somewhere to work, again, Anne was tireless. She looked at every advert, every paper, she talked to people, until in the end she discovered an opportunity at John Groom's home down at Shoeburyness, which Carolyn, with her own undoubted talents, obtained for herself. When Paul left home, and just didn't leave him to go off into the distance, independent though he was. She went and checked out the digs. I went with her, she checked it out to see if it was a nice landlady.
It's lovely, it's lovely.
The fact that about a very short while later he moved to a squat in Cedar Avenue is not her fault. She tried.
I gave it 4 weeks, I did the best I could.
I was about to say 3 weeks.
He had all this business acumen.
It was cheaper at the squat.
Anne was the first to share her pearls of wisdom with her children. Simple rules for life, like boys get on better if they have short hair.
Robert, are you listening?
Like, it's good to have friends as long as they don't live on campus. It doesn't matter what the education system says, a C is not a pass.
Oh, ingrained.
And of course, Paul leaving and going off illustrates that the children do fly the nest in the end. And Anne was a bit, I think the word is bereft, isn't it, when they all went and the house was quiet. She only had me to bully. But, of course, given time, grandchildren appeared. And then she could lavish her wisdom and attentions on them, which seems, as you've probably gathered from some of the comments, largely consisted of them taking them to wet and muddy places and doing dirty and frankly dangerous things, you know, cooking one's lunch over a bonfire on the beach and that sort of thing, which they seem to enjoy. But this comes to another aspect of Anne which has already been touched on, that she doesn't seem to grow old. Well, that's not right. I've heard a nice saying that growing old is obligatory, but growing up is optional. It seems Anne has taken the option because she's never lost her love of those childish pleasures. In fact, I can't remember which one of you lot it was, but one of you grandchildren, after some trip, said to Anne, I don't think you take us down to build sandcastles on the beach and light bonfires because we like it. I think it's because you like it. And I realised there was this little truth that she's never actually grown up.
Brilliant.
Now you see, I haven't finished. No, I haven't finished. I wasn't a teacher for nothing, you know. 50 minutes is the standard. Wider than family, with our friends, it's always been Anne who's kept the contact with our friends. I think men are often a little bit careless about keeping relationships up. When we moved to Bradwell, one of the criteria was that we should be near enough to Lee to get back and visit you good people, our friends from Lee. That was seriously one of the considerations. We would not have gone further. So I'm very glad to see a number of you here and sad that some of you aren't here. But friends Anne keeps in touch with. And in the wider sense of friends in our community in Bradwell, Anne is central to so many community activities.